Hey everybody, welcome to Wingman's Hangar, episode 65. This is an inside look at everything CIG, Chris Roberts' new epic space adventure game. Let's just get right to it. Coming up today, well, it's not gonna be a hugely long show because we've got some stuff coming up that we'll talk about. We'll explain that in a minute. We have form feedback with your questions and, well, just your questions this week. And later this week, which is what I was talking about earlier, we're going to have an inside look at what went on at Pax East and show you the cool things that happened and some of the stuff that we didn't get a chance to show you. And Chris Roberts is going to be chairing that. That's something really, really exciting to see. So stay tuned for that coming up later this week. Also, TNGS came out last week, and it was kind of a look at what the teams were up to, what they're updating as they're going through, what they're on their sabbatical, updating their ships, and so can't wait till we get back to their regularly scheduled broadcast and see what they're up to as they go forward. Those ships are looking fantastic. We had some new hires this week. At Foundry 42, we had Stephen Rutherford. He's a sound designer. And we had Ricky Jutley. He's in production. Ricky, you may know, he's come from Traveler's Tales, and he produced the Lego Hobbit game, which I just took out Six Wing, my youngest, to go buy last week. So we're supporting him and his team, and it looks pretty good so far. Behavior continues with the asteroid hangar. Take a look at this. Here we have Behaviors working on the asteroid hangar. It's coming up with the room system. It's going to be fully PBR. It looks brilliant. Those guys up there are working very hard. And Mark Skelton's giving us smart direction, and we have a lot of meetings with them. It looks really, really good. Love what they're doing up there. Pax East and the dogfight module reveal. So we had a really, really good time up in Boston last week. We met a lot of the citizens. We had about 1,500 of our closest friends hanging out in the booth. Things didn't go completely as we wanted, but they went pretty close. And the people we met were amazing. People loved what we're up to. And God, can't wait for the next one in Germany. It should be really fun. And you guys all over the world amaze us with
here we go.
Your enthusiasm and your support, and we cannot thank you enough. It's amazing. And guess what time it is now? It's time for
forum feedback.
Always good. Hey, this week we actually have you here. We ran the forum feedback last week, and there was no Rob.
There was no forum feedback.
There was no forum feedback. We were working pretty hard.
We were a little busy.
We were a little busy. We're still a little busy.
We're still a lot busy, but not quite as frantic as last week.
That's true. That's true. But I'm sure that frantic pace is going to keep coming back up because we need to get that module out to everybody else so they can play it. Shall we get right to it?
Let's get to it.
All right. Let's see how many names I can butcher
There's
this week.
some really awesome names.
I know. I see that. From Stagulator. NPCs in the verse. Will they get better the more we use them, or will they have skill sets that don't improve no matter how much time you use them? That's a really interesting question.
I actually looked at that question. I said, Chris, this is a question I would like the answer to. I'm very excited about your answer to this. So yeah, what he said is they will get better.
So level up essentially.
Essentially, kind of a behind the scenes leveling up thing. But there are going to be, they're differentiated. So not everybody can be a level 10, we'll call it that. A level 10 gunner, for instance.
Right.
Different characters will have different caps for different skills.
Wow, and it'll be up to them to discover which ones can do what. So
exactly.
And they have to hire them. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that a lot. From Jexer, will there be a possibility to infiltrate the law enforcement, advocacy, and Navy and create a secret organization of dirty cops? Just can't imagine such big world without corruption. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do
that's
when they come
for you? That's not about corrupted cops.
Oh, that's true, that's true.
Cop stars.
So, yeah, right. So what happens? Are we gonna be able to corrupt the cops?
So, well, there will be some places where corruption is a possibility in the verse. It's not gonna be something that the players jump in there and infiltrate. I mean, we need law enforcement for it's a tool for us and for our game masters to keep things under control in the universe to some extent. Keep problem players under wraps.
I think the forums could use some of that right about now. Just kidding. From Fatal Tarkus, will the Idris Corvette, or should I say Idris Frigate, notice how I changed Idris to Idris there, be able to land in space stations and or planets?
Well, the answer to that is we're not sure yet.
Yeah, right.
There was a time when we were pretty sure that it was going to land, but then something happened and the Idris sort of grew.
It's grown.
And turned into a frigate. So not sure yet.
So that's almost a TBD, you know. But
That
back to the old TBD days. But that, you know, that's one of those things we'll find out as we do the planet side environments and we do the size of the ships, and we'll see.
Would take a really big landing pad for that thing.
Right. You can always dock in space. From Trix X, will we be able to develop our own HUD designs and release them into the persistent universe?
The short answer to that is no. While there may be some opportunities for players to play with HUDs on their own local servers, it's a huge undertaking, and it's not necessarily something that's going to be easily customizable in the first place. I mean, there may be some ways to move screens around and everything as far as player configurations of their HUDs, but it's not going to be something that here's my new HUD, everyone can have it sort of situation.
Right, there's a lot of hookups that go into that on the back end or from the technology side.
It's a very technical task, yeah.
Right, but who's to say? I mean, with our fans out there, the citizens out there, they may cook something up that's out of this world, and you know, you send it in, you know, so that's all. If somebody does something really cool, I can't imagine us saying no. So we'll see how that goes. From Tron, as in IRL and in some games, missiles can be dodged or at a minimum evaded, so the detonation is further away from the aircraft body. Will the ability to evade missiles using flight skill, other than using counters such as asteroids and flares, will that be in the game?
So yeah, actually it's already in the game, in the sense that our missiles all have a lifespan, so they don't just fly around following you forever, so they do eventually detonate. If you're a good enough pilot, then in theory you could dodge a missile long enough for it to explode far away from you, or near somebody else, or whatever. But generally, countermeasures and intervening obstacles are the best way to go to scrape a missile off your tail in the shortest amount of time.
Okay, cool. Ooh, from Gilda. Will we be able to earn any certificates that may help us get more work in the persistent universe, such as medical, search and rescue, or bounty hunting?
So that's not really I think if you're thinking of it in terms of badges, for instance, it's not like you get a merit badge and suddenly you can, you know, build a fire in the universe or whatever. But it's more of a reputation thing. We're not going to gate based on a license most of these things. If you want to do it, you can do it. You may not be as good at it as other people, but you know, it's available. There may be some things that based on your reputation with certain organizations, you get access to different missions or better missions or harder missions, but you'll still have access to do those things.
Okay, so it's not like a license essentially.
Right.
Right, cool. From Elijah, are there plans to offer upgraded improving G-suits for purchase in-game so G-force tolerances can be increased? Yeah, I'm sure they all saw the...
I black out a lot. Yeah. I mean, almost black out. I never black out completely.
Yeah, I'm sure that happened at the dogfight reveal. We were showing that up there, and it was people seem to like that a lot.
It's hard.
It is. Well, so are we going to be able to upgrade your suit?
So yeah, actually we are going to. We've already been talking about some upgrades to suits so that you can lessen the impact of blackouts and redouts, because they can be a little challenging.
True. From 5x5, will the cockpit design be different in older and rare derelict ships that can be salvaged and restored or sold on the collector's market? Finding a first Vanduul War Hornet floating on the borders of Orion, perhaps, or even an even rarer interwar design. Wow, that is a tough question to get through.
There's a whole lot of cascading assumptions in that question too. It's like there's just going to be random ships lying around from whenever. So
you put on your EVA suit and go flying around the verse until you bump into a derelict ship.
Just some random. It's like, oh, this one was mentioned in jump point number 4.
Yeah.
So, starting with the first assumption and unraveling it a little bit. As we've told you all many times before, a ship in our universe is a huge undertaking. It is a big, long timeline with a lot of things that have to be done to get that game worthy. So it's not like we're going to be running into just random one-off ships all over the place. It can't be done easily. So, you know, things might be added over time, but we'd rather move forward than back, probably. So if there are occasionally some of these older ships thrown in, then yes, maybe they would have different HUDs, I guess is the answer to the original question, different cockpits, yes.
Right.
But don't expect to just be tripping over random ships all over the place when you're flying.
You would think that, like, if you find something, even if there were something populated out there in the verse, then it wouldn't necessarily be something you just jump in and fly home. You know, maybe you'd have to tow it or tractor beam it, so to speak. So even at that point, you still wouldn't be able to do what they're asking. So, from Random, will organizations be able to capture planets in some way and make them their home base and set up landing fees, etc.? And if they will, how will other organizations' players be able to capture the planet back?
So we've answered questions like this before in the sense that Chris doesn't necessarily envision us doing whole planet ownership early on, that might be a longer term goal, and we would have to have systems in place for that kind of event. Right now, if you're talking about organizations fighting over territory, it's more going to be space stations. And the answer to how you get it back is you invade the space station, board it, take out everybody who's on it.
So 420 million stretch goal, planet organizations? Obviously not. Take over. From Renorn, we need to talk about the serious stuff. Any chance to get a This Is PS Chris Roberts shirt or hoodies or coffee cup, whatever? I mean, come on. That's the best quote of the PAX event.
It was awesome. Yeah. The two most epic moments of the live stream.
I forgot about that.
That one and the running into the landing pad when he first launched were both just awesome. And of course, Chris just handled it. No problem.
Yeah, you know, actually, I was up in the booth directing the live stream, so I was like camera 2, camera 3, camera 4. And I had the headset on, and I heard him say it, and I went, oh, I wonder if that went out into the universe.
Yep.
I wonder if that was loud enough for everybody to hear. And yeah, apparently so.
Yep.
But so are we gonna get a This Is BS coffee mug for them?
I really, you know, I actually campaigned when I was talking to Chris today, and he said no.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. I mean,
I'm very sad about this.
It was awesome, though. It could end up, you know, maybe we could sneak in the vocals somewhere in the game. You know, that's an Easter egg. I'm sure that would be our last day at work.
Yeah, exactly. We'll miss you guys.
So the shirt here, I noticed you got a Parker Terrell
from Imperator.
What is that? What's the story behind that?
Well, this is a special gift from Dave Haddock.
Dave Haddock,
Dave Haddock is
cool.
Love
you, Dave Haddock.
All those comm links that you guys love to read, a lot of that comes from Dave.
He's an incredible fiction writer.
He's very prolific and he's very talented. But Parker Terrell is he's sort of our voice of the fans. When we publish some fiction and people say take issue with that, it's like, oh, your physics are wrong, or you know, whatever they happen to be upset about. Then sometimes Parker will jump in and take that side.
Parker jumps in and takes our side, does he?
Takes the fan side.
Oh, takes the fan side.
And basically shouts down the previous post, and that's his job. He's kind of the voice of you people.
Parker Terrell is the voice of the people.
And now he has his own show.
That's awesome.
Comlink last week, he got his own show. So now you get even more of him, and he is going to be bringing reason to the verse.
There's a reason for the reason.
That's right.
All right, well, thanks, Parker. I mean, Rob.
No, he's my cousin.
Oh, your cousin, right, for helping us out with this week's forum feedback. And thanks to Chris, obviously, for helping us out there. And now it's time for this week's Most Valuable Post.
Hi, I'm Michael Morlan, standing in for Ben the Hammer Lesnick and Will Mini-Ben Lewis. This week's MVP goes to Amun Khonsu for his post, UFO Sightings. Now, I'm not sure if I'm absolutely convinced that these are real photos, but man, that looks awfully familiar there in the background, doesn't it? Other photos I like are the Great Wall of China and what is that over Slim Pickens' shoulder? Congratulations, Amun Khonsu. You're this week's MVP.
Thanks, Mike, for stepping in for Ben in the minibar on this week's Most Valuable Post. I want to thank subscribers for allowing us to do this show and all the shows we do that help get the information from Cloud Imperium to you guys. Thanks to Pledgers. Again, without everybody joining us in this epic adventure, there wouldn't be a game, and there wouldn't be epic events like PAX East that we attended last week, or Gamescom, or any of the other ones coming up, PAX Australia, you know, just whatever we got coming on. And as ever, you guys continue to amaze us with your generosity.
Hey everybody, this came in while the guys were at GDC, so I've kind of adopted it. I think it's great. It's an ecosphere from, let's see, the Rare Fish Trading Company.
Cool, well thank you very much, Rare Fish Trading Company, woohoo! All right, an ecosphere. That's some good eating there. Hey everybody, we just got another gift, and it's from Tim Baroni. I opened it, but I haven't been able to see what it is yet, so apparently I didn't open it well enough. There we go. Oh, cool, they're patches. All right, from Polaris Squadron. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, listen to this. Said they just had a regional meetup at the Minnesota region in honor of the gathering. We had some patches made up and wanted to share a few with the CIG gang. That's fantastic, and it's apparently citizens who attended the event. Harper, Cordis, Contropolis, Viper 1106, Sloan Royal, Machin, Nick, I'm just going to butcher these names. Nick Revicure, Najasic, Ulysses Hammer, Hart, almost said fart, Rorik, Wormfood, Moral Dilemma, Rocket Man, Team Barone. Thank you guys very much, man. We'll have some belly. Wow, it's incredible. Isn't that incredible? I mean,
these guys are amazing.
I've never been more honored to be at a job in my life. It's crucial. It's incredible. So what do we got coming up this week at CIG? We got Dogfight Module version 1. We are finishing up the final sprint to get that out to everybody and get that into your hands as quickly as possible. We are now busy testing, right, Rob? Every day. We've got it working pretty stably now, and now we've got to get all the fun into the game itself, get a lot of the gameplay in there, and we're testing across multiple studios and banging each other away and having a good time. And Paul Reindell no longer has the missiles cheat on his desktop. now that the server's in the cloud, he doesn't get the benefit of running his own server. We've also got Next Great Starship episode 1.9 coming up. Look forward to that. Well, take a look at this. Well, I can't wait to see what those teams are up to. It's going to be really, really fun. And well, we got a big special on Pax East coming up this week. It's a dogfight recap coming up. We're going to show you guys everything we showed you, and then a lot of stuff we wanted to show that we just didn't get ready on time, but it's really there now, and we want you guys to check it out. Chris will take you into a much deeper tour of the dogfight module, and it should be fun. If you were excited about what you saw at the reveal, you want to stay tuned for that. So stay tuned for that. This or that, this, that. Coming up this week. So, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to get alerted whenever we post a video up and you get to be the first one to find out first. You know, everybody wants to be that one first to put that out there. Then subscribe to the YouTube channel, get out there, and you'll get an email telling you what's going on inside Cloud Imperium. Submit your questions in the RSI forum every week, usually around Thursday or Friday. I post a thread up there asking for your forum feedback questions. Last week we let it roll a couple weeks because we did the short show obviously last week. This week it's not a super long show, but at least it's going to be similar, and we'll put that post up probably Thursday this week. So submit your questions there. Wingman's Hangover will be about 15 minutes after the show. It's kind of an informal look at what goes on, and we'll get on Skype and we'll get on chat roll and we'll talk to each other directly and have a good time and just converse. And remember, if you want your stuff featured on Wingman's Hangar, send it in. We just might use it. So, Parker, where are we going to see him?
In the comlink.
Or in the verse. Or in the verse. Or in the verse. Or in the verse.